It is absolute madness out there in the Halo Pro scene, as we are now talking about not just one, no, two, three Sentinels members in trouble for the original thing that we talked about a long time ago as probably our biggest story in Halo esports to date ever since Infinite has made its triumphant return. Well, that was all around, yes, Royal1, and what was kind of a very controversial event, his temporary suspension for geo-filtering called out by several top teams and several top players, many of whom actually explained, like Snipedown, as to where these accusations did come from, and not allowed to partake in the first big HCS event on LAN over at Raleigh, where evidently he might have saved himself getting sick from COVID like everyone else who went there apparently got. Now, following this, we actually have an update for the start of 2022 and the upcoming HCS season and esports for Halo in general, an update which was buried in this update, another update on this previous statement where it was not only Royal1 to receive punishment for things said and of course done during that time, it was also a couple of his teammates and of course other Sentinels members who were also punished and fined for things they said on social media towards Halo and HCS staff members and admins. Yes, that being Royal1 and also Lethul have now been fined and seemingly a good chunk of change for things they said on Twitter. A constant reminder for any franchise league out there and even non-franchise players who partake in the HCS for Halo that what you say, especially if it's against HCS staff and admins who are putting on events for you, apparently they are not going to let it fly at all. As in that statement, and it's the same for both Royal1 and Lethul, so I'll only read it once, as apparently their conduct, as evidenced by his December 12th, 2021 tweets, and both of them were actually found guilty of tweets. Apparently Lethul had a couple more, though, that crossed both December 12th and 13th, and they violated the HCS Code of Conduct, specifically the non-disparagement and treatment of league officials. So HCS determined that both Royal1 and Lethul's conduct to be severe disparagement of HCS administration and severe mistreatment of league officials. Therefore, the administration has issued a fine against Royal1 and Lethul for severe disparagement of HCS admins and for severe mistreatment of league officials. So obviously, everyone is wondering what was said, what was exactly tweeted. The one thing HCS did not include is exactly what was said by both of these guys. I can pretty much guarantee you these tweets have been deleted. We did get one from Royal1, which was deleted and likely the reason for his fine. Lethul, I have no idea what he said throughout all of this. If you guys have been following the situation very closely, all of the streams, his very own streams, his Twitter, Lethul has responded a lot. He has said a lot on, of course, the treatment of Royal1. So I would not be surprised if he said something that maybe throughout all of his responses was obviously deemed a bit too far. I could not capture that for all of you, but we did get Royal1 and what he said and what also is the reason why he was issued a fine. So you can imagine what Lethul said is as bad, if not worse, because again, make sure to note what was actually said in this statement, that Lethul apparently had tweets on the 12th of December and the 13th of December that they found disparaging against HCS staff. So I imagine he probably said some other things out there too. But possibly the tweet that got Royal1 his fine was saying this in response directly to HCS and their competitive ruling around Royal1. He said, "What a disgusting group of individuals involved in this process. Never have I seen an unfair and unjust investigation process in my life. What a great way to treat your 2-times world championship team that has done so much for your franchise," and then directly adding Tashi over there at 343 saying, "You disgust me." And some people were really upset by this, but I just want to quickly say this would not get okayed in any other league. I'm talking League of Legends. I'm talking Call of Duty. There is no shot a Call of Duty pro could go directly at, someone high up in CDL. No shot they could actually directly at them and say, "You disgust me." This reminds me, and I'm not trying to take any drags, okay? We're going to get into the fine segment here in a second, but you have to be an adult on social media. You can maybe say these things behind closed doors, and if you are a bit closer with Tashi and maybe tell him directly, but to tweet this directly to an HCS post, you got to know better. You got to be an adult in the situation. And again, you probably were upset with the ruling, but you can't say that. That reminds me of the Fortnite pros where someone like Clicks or other members directly at someone like Donald Mustard over at Epic Games and then say, "Hey, like you're trash," or "Hey, you suck," or "Hey, your game is arse," and not expect the punishment to come from that. That was definitely too far. I'm very curious what someone like Lethul said. But now we get into the fine section, which a response from Snakebite, which is very interesting because he says that he was blown away by the amount of fines that Halo players apparently do have to pay, which brings up a great debate because obviously Halo is not a franchise league. There are not salary minimums. A lot of these guys are probably making way less than the Call of Duty guys, but again, who knows how to compare those salaries and what they're making. But their argument here is if you're a part of a franchise league, you deserve to be fined more because you're a part of a $300 million league with established salaries. And I think I understand that more than an entry and an open level event from Halo and HCS. We're going to see a lot more open teams, no salary minimum. I think I understand where he's coming from, but he also asked a question of how much are CDL fines, to which Octane, the man with the biggest cajoons in the CDL, no stranger to getting fined, he even responded, and this is where it gets crazy. As Snakebite did first respond to me, and I appreciate this clarification, he says, just so there is not confusion, they were fined for tweets, not for what Royal1 was suspended for. I think we all understood that, but he definitely sees the reason for a punishment. He said it was just wild to compare the numbers in his opinion. He also continued on his own Twitter, as he even said, side note, away from the drama, I'm so sorry for everyone playing Infinite who is trying to enjoy crossplay with friends or even just have more than lobbies of 2. 5 games in the open playlist today, all with cheaters with walls and aimbot. Truly incredible stuff. Which I already think you're like pushing boundaries of, whoa. I mean, I think you're okay to talk trash about the game because you're not in a franchise league. But correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know how those rules might work. It just feels like certainly walking the line. You got teammates who just got in trouble for trash talking admin and staff members, which I do agree with that ruling. You should not talk poorly about the people who put on the events for you. It's never going to go well, especially directly adding them, but he is certainly walking that line. And then he says, hey, if anyone's willing to speak up, how much are these fines? And Octane goes, yeah, I've had a run in here and there, 500 to 3K. Can you imagine tweeting out something, because he probably tweeted it, a few short words, and they take $3,000 out of your pocket? By golly, what the frick? I mean, I'm unemployed and I'm more broke than ever. I literally could not afford to spend $3,000. I cannot imagine. So I am curious. And of course, Halo, HCS in their post, they did have a list and a variety of minimum penalties to maximum penalties. So we don't know if Royal1 and Lethul paid $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 underneath the disparagement column. You'd have to imagine it's 1 or 3, but it's definitely either 1 or 3. And even then, that's still a lot of money. So I can understand why someone would be upset if they had no clue these things were coming. But now every other pro who has seen the situation, they know, okay, I can't trash talk the staff and the administration. I'm sure you guys can trash talk the players, but when you involve actual people behind the scenes, that's where it probably gets, no, HCS can't allow that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to have fun with it, trying to break it down for all of you guys. I do actually agree with this punishment. I don't know how harsh it was. I understand their frustration around the original ruling, but also at the end of the day, you are adults. You got to act like it, and I don't think any of those Call of Duty guys would ever go directly at the league and their admins, so it's a learning lesson for sure. I am curious how much the Sentinels guys actually did pay, and comparing them to Call of Duty fines, that to me was the coolest part about all of this, because that's stuff we don't usually get to see. So Octane, more props to you, and thanks to Snakebite for the quick response. Royal1 and Lethul have now been fined by HCS. What do you guys think about the punishment? Till next time, drink up. All right, drink up, sip up. I'll catch you back here sometime soon. Okay, bye.